be recording this show in case people are going to want to watch it later on YouTube. We've got our own YouTube channel as Intrepid Booze, that is Intrepid Booze on YouTube, and we're going to be uploading this video there as well. So to start, I know the metrics for Facebook may be slow today, depending on internet, but we hope all goes well. And I'm going to be sharing my knowledge, and we are going to start now. And for sure, I'm just going to make sure I double check what is happening in the background. So you're going to be seeing a bit of the back end, just like I told you. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, I'm going to share my entire screen right now, and we're just going to disable some of the things from the screen, just so that we're able to concentrate so well on what we're doing today. And yeah, that's what I meant. So I'm not going to minimize on anything. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. I've got Illustrator 2022. I've got Adobe After Effects. I've got Illustrator. I've got Photoshop. What is that? Oh, that is Illustrator. I've got two sets of Illustrator, and I also have Adobe XD, but I use them when there is need. So, but for now, for Facebook, for Intrepid Boost, we're not going to be using that as much. I'm going to be using something called Inkscape. The reason I choose Inkscape at most is because it is light, and yeah, one thing, it is light, and the other thing is that it is light in such a way that it is only 189 MB, whereas Photoshop is almost 2 gigabytes, and Illustrator is about almost 1.5 to 2 gigabytes as well. So I'd rather use Inkscape at times because it is light when it comes to performance, and when I need Illustrator, I go to Illustrator. So I'm going to go directly to Intrepid Booze folder. Oh, sorry, I've opened an icon. By the way, Intrepid Booze also has an icon, uh, on icon, of course, desktop icon. And I'm going to go to fixtures, and knowing so well that tomorrow we're going to be playing at that is 8 hours, I'm just going to make something for 8 hours, and we are probably going to have to copy from the file that we made last time and make it better, but I'm going to also be explaining some most important parts of it. So by the way, in case you're wondering, I'm using Windows 11, and it's all updated, yeah. It's all updated. That's what I use. I use Windows 11, and then I'm also a Linux guy. So other than Windows, I love Linux, but because there are a lot of things that we need to do on Windows, I get back to Windows. So yeah, getting back to the issue, last time, if I may remind you, what you saw on our Facebook page for Intrepid Booze is this picture here. And so yeah, it's this picture here. That's what you saw last time. I'm going to close one of these. So this is one picture that you saw on our Facebook page, and everything that is here, we had to make it again, starting from the red arrows logo itself. The only things we didn't make are the planes here, and I noticed that normally before we do the graphics, we do a research. In graphic designing, you have to do a research on what you want to make, then uh, download components that you're going to use, then put them together, then start working. So normally I also did my research. I also found out that the red arrows logo, and that is the basketball team, and the football team, all the logos are not precise with measurements. So I duplicated that part, and I'm going to want to give this another feel, as requested. So what we're going to do is we have this orange part here as our page probably, and we're not going to want it at all. So we're just going to want to remain with the outline and not the internal part or the fill color. And then from here, I want to put a different picture here. Okay, it's here. So I got this picture from the internet, and it's a commercial picture, by the way. So I'm going to want to rescale this picture and make it it needs to be the same size as this. So I'm just going to hold Control and just hold Control and drag it. Yep. So probably I'm going to want it to have the same height. Yeah, if not the same height, then somewhat bigger. So I'm just going to paste the height, not like that. We're going to want to lock that up and then just paste the height. Okay. Okay, then we're going to scale it up a bit. We're going to have to send this to back, and we want this now to be our border, so we are going to have to just lessen on that. Let's put it at 5 and make it white. Okay, that's normally how Bo's graphics are. And then we're going to probably want to place this picture in a right way, but I'm going to leave it here in the meantime. I'm just going to give it a few of some blur so that we give it some realistic touch. And probably we're going to now start changing certain things here. Okay, so we want to give this a different kind of opacity, somewhat there. Okay, that's okay. And now what we want to change, because looking at this picture, this is more of a it's a realistic picture. It's a picture of a code. So we're going to have to try to make our words 3D as we can as well. So I'm just going to go zoom in and try to make this text 3D as well. And we're going to hold that now. And sorry. Okay, and we want it to be red this time around, but Intrepid Boozer's got a specific red as well. What am I touching here? So we've got that, okay, and that, okay. Yeah, so, and that, and that. Okay, so we're going to want to remove this text from here. Okay, there's another one right behind. So we're going to have to delete that. And normally I had to double them just to give it some enough quality. And then from here, we're going to have to get the text behind. We're going to delete this as well. Make sure there's nothing, okay? And then we're going to have to get the one which is behind and take it quite further. And make sure that's where we want it to be. And yeah, we want it to be as 3D as possible. Don't care about anything else. For now, we're going to control everything as we finish. So we're going to also want to, yep, get that. And okay, I just wanted to find out what other sources are here. So we had given it a shadow, which we're going to have to scale down as well. Not that, but that. Not that, but that. Okay, we're going to have to delete that shadow. Okay, so now the different touch I want to give this is just giving it a 3D kind of look. And already, if you can notice, it's already looking 3D. But in what angle must it go? Okay, that's the right angle. So now these are weights right now, and we probably want to just leave them as shapes so that we can manipulate them better. So I'm going to select the top word and go to path and just make it a shape and ungroup. First of all, they were grouped. So after ungrouping, we're going to go to make them a path and this ungroup all. Then we have something as well in the background. What is this? Okay, that's that. Then this is still there. Okay, now we're also going to have to ungroup this and also make it the same thing. Make it a path, then ungroup. Then they are all singular words that we may now manipulate singularly. So what we do normally, this could be unlike in other softwares, but what we do in Inkscape, if it was in Photoshop, I'd be using other tools. Now what we're going to be doing in here is we're going to have to be snapping these nodes to the corners so that we make it kind of 3D. So we're going to be going to each letter and snap it to the end so that we make it 3D. And then here as well, we're going to do the same, snap it there, and then we're going to go to A, do the same, what's that, and snap it there. We're also going to do that and snap it there, and that later as well, snap it there, and that later as well. What letter is this? Must be I. Okay, so we're going to go bottom first, then on top later. So if it was a recorded video, I was going to fast forward this part, but it's a live video. So that means we're gonna have to follow each and everything we do. And by the way, this is Inkscape. For you that want to be graphic designers, of course, in Inkscape you can do a lot of things as well. So you can just download it. It's open source as well. If you're a Linux user, it's also on Linux. You don't have to panic for anything. So we're going to now go to the top, and we're going to be double checking the center as well. Okay, so the center is cool, and now the top again. Okay, the top and the top again. Okay, and the top again. Okay, that's letter T. Yeah, tournament. Um, Normally it's always quick in here. That is why I kind of like it in here. And by the way, I do use Inkscape mostly because it is light and I do things fast. And you can pretty much do the same in Photoshop as well. Yeah, but I just like the fact that Inkscape is just equal to Illustrator. So if you can use Illustrator, you can also use Inkscape. And that's the main result that we have with this picture. And probably if you want to give it a different feel, you can just give it some red. And oh, this white has got some, where do we catch that white from? Okay, so it's got some opacity. So we're going to want it to be all white. All white, is that all white? Which one is on top and which one is on at the bottom? This is at the bottom. Okay, so now, yeah, that's what we can do as well, but we're going to see at the end of it all. But that's an example that I've given you of what we're trying to do here. By the way, that black shadow is always going to remain there. We're just going to leave it so that we don't really erase the earlier feel of the picture. I'm going to be as quick as possible in doing this so that we can be fast in doing this. We're probably supposed to finish early. Okay, this part has to go there if not mistaken, and this part goes there. So as long as you've turned on the snap to, what is this tool? It's called cusp nodes. So it snaps to the cusp nodes. I don't know, it's cusp nodes actually. So it's so quick to do. This time around I'm just doing it double. And I'm also hoping that the live stream is also going smoothly because I'm not switching softwares at all, so for the bandwidth of the internet to be tampered with. Okay, that's okay. So we're going to go there as well. So snap that. This snaps there instead, and this snaps there. Yeah, and on the A snaps there. Still on the A, we snap it there. Um, Snap it there. I guess we're going to the, is this the last letter? Yeah, which is the first actually, C of championship. Yeah, so now we go to the top because we left out some certain parts of the top. That is some of the letters. This is A. Okay, okay, and what other letter? What other letter? N. We forgot this part. And on the S, this part normally goes there, but we have to bring this here and that there, then take it there. And it's now a complete S. On the H, we also didn't do that part. Okay, now we're done with the first top part, and now we have to deal with cues here. And now you know so much well that if we do the cues the same way we've done the small letters, the same way we've done with those big ones, it might be awkward, but yeah, that's the same depth they also need to have. So we probably need to give them that same depth as well. Or rather, we can give them um, a smaller depth just to differentiate. Um, just to differentiate as well. For example, if we move this, or we've got another one here. Which one is this? Okay, let's delete that. And normally what I do is I try to double this just to give them quality. By the way, Inkscape is all about what you're thinking. So you've probably got to be creative when you're doing things in here just to have the final product. It's not as easy as other softwares, although it's got a nice user interface. You're not sure not that it's hard. I'm not trying to discourage anyone. So we're going to try to move this somewhat closer so that it has in its own capacity or criteria perhaps have its own depth, because of the fact that it is small, it is going to look as if it has got the same depth as the other letters. So we're just going to undo that and continue selecting the rest of this so that we have the same movement across the word. Is it the sentence rather? So we're going to just scale this backwards and up to somewhere there. And if we look at that, yeah, that's what we needed. So we just have to going to do the same again. This is the only hard part that we may, not really hard, but time consuming part that we may encounter in here. And now what we want to do here again is snap this there, and we're probably going to be, this is probably going to be easy because they are not really far, but yeah, yeah, that's what done there. And now we go to the A. You probably have to zoom in more. And good part with Inkscape is that you can zoom in as much as you can. You can zoom in up to like 425,000 nits or pixels under. So we don't want this part to be seen. So we're going to move it inside and just connect that one to the top angle. Then the arrow must be okay, but at the bottom. So yeah, what we're doing here, because these are 2D, this is 2D graphics. If it was going to be 3D, you were going to probably see me in Adobe 3D or probably Blender. If not Blender, I've not done C4D. But once you know these interfaces, you're probably very confident with almost all of them. Because if you can work in Blender, probably you know where to find what tools you should expect in AutoCAD or perhaps C4D or perhaps Adobe, some Adobe 3D. Yeah, so that's the case. Same thing with the 2D graphics software like Photoshop, and this one I'm using here, Inkscape. You always know what tools you've got, mutual tools across the software, so you probably won't ever be mistaken about anything. So not that, but that. And by the way, most people use Inkscape when they are doing some cartooning. You can draw your characters here and take them to either um, any other software you want and animate them in there or finish them in there. You can start in here and finish up in Blender, or you can start in here and finish up in Illustrator. It all depends on what you want to use at the end of the day. So at the end here, we're probably going to use the end tips. Here, probably going to snap there. Okay, and now we're remaining with just a few letters to complete this. This is the only kind of time-consuming part, by the way, just like I mentioned earlier. Okay, so I didn't really think. I don't know if the internet is doing good, the stream is doing great on your end, but if it is not, just know today maybe a kind of a rough day with the internet. I think I only remember using my PC in the morning, somewhat there, and I was away until just some minutes ago, some hours ago rather. Was on the road. So now what we're going to have to do is give a solid feel to this. We don't want it to be what we don't want it to be red or that kind of red, or maybe if we put it that red, it can have that kind of bottom. But or we can, okay, here is where we decide, or we can make it perhaps red. Sorry for that. Um, or we can make it red and have the we're going to probably have to, yeah, then, and have that. Sorry, I was saying we can make this uh, that can be white, yeah, then we can have this as red to see how it's going to look like. That's kind of inverted, so we're going to have to do what did we do in the first place? Okay, that's the letter. So if we make this some other color, let me just randomize the color here. If we're going to, okay, then this is going to have to be on top. Yep, and now I'm trying to reciprocate this. If we make this red and the bottom becomes white, how is it going to look like? By the way, don't assure me there, it's probably going to be at the bottom. We've got another letter there, I'm certain. So yeah, we've got another letter there. What letter is that? Not that. not that. Let's find out what letter is there. Okay, so we're going to have to move this to the bottom so that it gives us chance here. So okay, yeah, that was what was disturbing us. So we're going to have to take this behind. Okay, yeah, now we're cool. So yeah, now I'm trying to figure out what if we make all of this, not not that, but what if we make the top, what if we make the top to be red? Okay, probably that. So what if we make the top red? And sorry, we're going to have to increase the opacity, and let's just do this. For opacity, let's bring them up. um, okay, how's that? Then we have reciprocated these two, so they're going to have to go back down, and they're going to have to remain white. Okay, before we take it all white, let's just change the colors of this to this. So now we can make these colors white. Sorry, once more. Yeah, that color. So now my question is, how is it if we make that, if we make these to be that color? Don't be confused with that. We can always change it. It was just our first reference point. Um, yeah. So now the question is, if we make these to be white, how does it look? So probably this is going to have to be on top. Yep, on top. So this, and that are going to have to match that color. Now we want a color which is obviously going to call someone's attention. So I think red at the background may be cool because we're dealing with somewhat bright background. So that's my take on this one. I don't know what yours can be, and I'm going to group this text so that not that, but that and that. What if you group it? Okay, so I'm going to group this text and leave it white, or not really white, but now we're going to have to select the background text, the background letters, and now we're going to group them as well. And now we can say the top becomes white, full white, and the bottom becomes red. How's that? Now I believe that's the way. And now we want this to be a boost, Intrepid boost color. So we're probably going to just ink in on that and see what color it gives us. And if we have any opacity, we have to disable that. The original color for Intrepid boost is actually here. Okay. Okay, so we probably want to make it a bit dark just to show that there is some light behind, and yeah, so that kind of thing. We're also going to have to group these letters, the top letters. We group them in advance first, then we want that, is it that 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 and that, not that but this, not this but this. Okay, where is the other mistake? Where is the other mistake? Where is the other mistake? Perhaps not this but this, not this but this, or not that. Yeah, not that either. We want this. Okay, not this but this. No, come on. Okay, let's try to change the color. Yeah, I noted. So let's just zoom in a bit and deselect that and select this. Now we change the color, not that, not that, but this and this, not that, this. Okay, now we can change the color, not that again, but this. Now we can change the color, and now we're on the same side, but for here we're going to have to change the selection here. So probably you need to always pay attention to what you're doing, because you may be lost. So I'm going to switch the color up and group that, and I want to group the text that is behind with ease. And so it'll be easy now. It'll be easy just to go there and pick each and every one remaining. By the way, I'm not going to be mentioning some keys in here, like the keys that I'm pressing, because it'll be too long to do. So yeah, we're going to make that red again, and this time is red. Let's do this. Uh, um, okay, we need to ungroup this first of all and increase the opacity, and then we can group them now and give them one color. So what have we done now? Okay, so we just have to take these backwards. Okay, and now we get back to this one and make it white, but it had okay, let's ungroup the group it as well. Okay, it's one color now. I'm sensing that there are certain colors here that may not be. They're all okay. That's a good thing then. Okay, so they are all white, like really white, and we want the background color to be the same. So we're going to have to ink in on that one as well. I'm not going to try to actualize this to make it look more natural with the light in here. It's going to take more time, trust me. And so we're just going to have to select this text below here as well. So is this, is that, not that, okay, is 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 that, that letter R, R, that's A actually, oh, I think, oh, that's Q actually. We're going to group those. And before I actually group them, we're going to have to increase the opacity to all the way white. Let's change the color so that we can differentiate and note where we had wrong selections. And let's change the color again. Okay, that's where we, okay, now we are correct, if I'm not mistaken. Apart from T, not this, but this. And if we change the color again, we must be okay. Yep, so we're going to want that to be white as well. If we wish, we can give it another color, but what color does Bose use other than this? It could be blue, but blue doesn't really work here, so it just has to be final. I mean, just has to be white all along, and then we're going to have to group that. Then the rest are just as easy to select. Yeah, so after we're done selecting, we'll be 70% done. The rest is just to move it up and down and to the right positions. Yep. Now we can also get the same color here, the background color, and we are aware that others way had somewhat some transparency. After queuing out the transparency, and now we can go, yep, that way. Okay. And now there's one thing that I'm going to do. I'm going to group this first. But there is one thing that I'm also going to do. We want to give this sort of a gradient. So I'm going to go there. So these things are going to, I'm going to ungroup all of them and group all at once. No, again. Okay, let's do that. Okay, yeah, that's way to go. So we're going to take it bottom and then top one step. Then from there, we're going to, let's define it with the color. Then we hope there's no opacity. Yeah. So now what we're going to want to do is give it some color of more of some background color with the lighting, because we know there's lighting definitely coming up. So we're going to just give it a gradient and press G there, and these letters, we know they are going this way. Okay, actually it's that way. So we're going to go this way. It's not really red, but it's going to be, we're going to have to mimic the same color behind and just make it more. Does this look convincing? And where is the red coming from? Okay, we might just have to go contrary to this. If we get this color, we would have no proof that there is any light which is that way here. And yeah, definitely. Okay, now we wanted to tell the fact that this this whole picture had some background color coming in, some light, kind of light coming in from somewhere, but after having put red this side, we're seeing that there's no blue coming out from somewhere other than this side. So we're going to have to lighten the blue perhaps. Let's see how that's going to work. No, 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 no. Um, okay, that means we're going to have to remain with one color out. And one thing to define it equally. Okay, but to look at this close may be okay, but we are aware that people may not really look at this so close as they would. But for what I need, I think this is okay. We're going to leave it here for now, and we go to other things. So we want to also decrease the opacity of this now to that much. Then we want to uh, also give that a shadow. So we're going to just give that some black, then give a shadow, and from there take it to the bottom and raise it once. Yeah, let's see how it goes. Probably that way. Uh, let's turn off the snapping and let's do that to the shadow. Okay, so we are going to want it to look as if it is on something at least. Yeah. Okay, now the other thing is the verses here. The verses here, one thing I did was I just, by the way, Intrepid Booz uses, it's the font that we use is Oswald. That's our own font, like our own font that we use. So we're going to also have to change this to Oswald. Then we're going to bring that together again, and yeah, just there. Then let's make it different. Okay, let's ungroup it. We know it was grouped. Then let's select the background picture. Can we do that? We now, for this one, we don't really want it to be, we don't want it to have sort of we don't want it to have a 3D look. We just want it to be there in the middle and bright. So uh, there it's okay, but we want to give it sort of a shadow so that we can show that it's really bright. So we're going to bring that down, and some shadow there, and take it down one step, the other step, and now it looks nice. Let's yeah, sort of there, and I can assure you it is okay now. We can just get it and group it with the other text, and it'll be okay. And one other thing is we probably also don't want to give some gloss to this pig. Yeah, if we had time, we would give some gloss to these logos. For example, in here we have to make everything. You have to make everything sort of manually. So if we would give a glow to this here, we would somewhat make that. And oh, I wanted a star and what can we do? Yeah, somewhat there. That's what we would do. And yeah, that would be a star. You have to in here. You have to make everything manually. That's Inkscape for you. So if we go there again and let's check out the okay that and we wanted this part to be sort of we wanted that part to be white instead. And the roundness, do we have anything? No, come on. Uh, roundness, we don't want that to be round at all. Okay, okay. Yeah, it's okay there, but we probably don't want this. We want it to be manual. Everything is manual in here. That's one thing you need to know. And let me just revert one thing. Um, Probably that, and give it some, not really much of it. Okay, so now how you make some glows in here is that you would bring this to where you want it to be, probably. And if it is there, you're going to have to make it a bit, okay, that would be that way. But another one will have to be blur. So yeah, kind of really blur. And then the bottom one, you may make it sort of, that's the face color. You can duplicate that and try to, not really that way. What other color would we use here? Maybe this color, and but you wouldn't see the sense that I'm trying to make here. Um, so where's that? Where's the other one? We remove this and remain with this, and then okay, that's the glow behind, and then if we are to come here, we probably want it not really that way, but somewhere where we want it. But the rest of the work is where to just place the whole thing now. If you are to do that, where would you take this? If it is here, then it has to be kind of 3D. If you'd bring it here, then it would also, you would want to put other elements like perhaps a kind of circular thing just to show some rays coming in. And this would be all white and blurry to that point. And we would want to take it backwards. Not really there, but or maybe there, but give it some opacity. Uh, and the strikes of the star would probably want to make a star which is more sharp, and probably here I don't want to give this a lot of glow because the background already have some glow, so we don't have to complicate things here at all. So let's wrap this up now. So one thing we want to do now is find a way in which we're going to place the logos. Probably I put the logo for Intrepid Booze here because it'll be home. Intrepid Booze will be home, then on Sunday it'll be away. So for the Sunday game, we're probably going to have to interchange this. And this is probably the same time, 8 hours, yeah, and Nasdaq. But if we want to change this, it can be optional, yeah. But this is now 22, so we're going to probably have to wrap up all this, and I promise I'm going to upload this exactly as it is, as we we'll leave it here. So I'm going to turn off the snap and just go beyond that. So I'm just going to leave it the way it is. The way everything we're doing here is what I'm going to is how you're going to see everything out there. So what lights do we have on top? So okay, so we're going to have to try to mimic the light here, the light that we have on top. So we're probably going to have to, yeah, that's the lighting we have, but we want this kind of light to be here, and then this side we probably want it to be there, and we want this, maybe this kind of light. What other light do we have here anyway? I wish we had like some other kind of glow, but okay, let's make maybe a red glow. A red glow, but not really that red, this red here. But let's give this picture a certain red glow from the lights. So we've got this ray here, we've got that ray there. So if we make a ray from somewhere this side, it's going to be okay. So yeah, let's try to make a ray that is going to come down this way and that way and back that way. It's going to come out of the photo actually. So we're going to have to try to make it the same color, red, that we're trying to do, and remove the outline. Then we're going to probably have to give it a gradient. So let's give it a gradient and press G there. Then let's get from there to here. And probably we're going to have to want to soften this. Yeah, it is already soft this side, but how soft should it be? That soft, and what of that side? We don't want it that harsh, but we just want to give the feel, a feel that we have a light that is red, and then we have to make it that way. And then G again, yeah, just making it blurry a bit. G again, and we're probably going to have to want this to be kind of that color again, maybe there. Yeah, so one mistake you would make here is that you know probably that this light is now on top of this, but we just want it to go inside of that shape. So we're going to probably want it to go behind first, then we raise it up once and twice. And if we come here, we're going to select the Benash and the steers and the debonaires, raise them up. Yeah, that way. That way would have solved the issue, and now we can say we have the red glow here, which if we want we can always customize and try to bring it further. And this side maybe will be any other way light would come in. We can even change the color if we wish. It could be this way, but what colors does Intrepid Booze here have? That's what we're trying to see. Or we can make it the orange for, but it doesn't still match with that color. Probably you would also want to switch up, but yeah, we find that red is the certain color. You'd also want to switch it up so that you could see which red is quite exact. But that is the exact rate that I've tried to find, and I'm going to go with that. And now the work is also on here. We're going to have to reduce this a bit and make it more real that way. Yeah, it's off, but it shows it just got its own effect as well. It's not a shadow. If we take it too low, it becomes a shadow, but we just want it to be there. It just tries to make a reflection. Is it a refraction actually in the air? And we would also, let me duplicate this and turn it the other way around, and let's have it this side as well. So we're going to have it, okay, and now let's have it as another color. So we're going to want to make it, okay, that color now, and it has to be this side, it has to be that. Where's that deep color? So let's actually get it from here somewhere. Is it here? Here? Where are we going to get it? Okay, let's get it from here. Then let's get that from there as well. Let's give it a bit of color and let's faint it. Not that way. We're going to want to faint it from the side. So yeah, because it really looks too strong. And we're probably going to want all this part to be up in the air. Yeah, and we would say we have made something. Our aim was to give this a simply slight look. And I've seen a lot of pictures, a lot of people that are trying to make such pictures, but in a way or another, I feel like it goes astray somewhat. And Intrepid Booz, at times you also have to know what the team or the client wants. So Intrepid Booz wants their graphics so formal and official. However much stylish you can make them, they have to be official and appealing. That is one thing we always follow at Intrepid Booz. So here I wouldn't want to mess things a lot because we would miss how their criteria of pictures goes so formal. So as we reach here, we may also want to give this a glow. So we're going to separate that again, and then let's just give it a somewhat similar, just somewhat a glow somewhere. And then yeah, it can be there, but we just want to give it a glow to make it look like it was kind of glowing. And yeah, that way. We would also give the logos a glow, but we probably just don't really want. Oh, we can, yeah, we can, but you probably can try something else, something out. We want some path effect, yeah, and we can drag this here. Close tab, move to window, yeah. So, nah, not this path effects. We want some filters, color. If it's color, we're probably going to want to have something that has a glow or something, and we're going to take quite a long time, so I'm just going to let's check the soft colors how they look, and that way, okay, we don't really like that because that's not the way Intrepid Boo's logo looks like. We may try to blares. Okay, let's go on blares and Gaussian blare, clean blare, autofocus, not really autofocus, we just blare double. No, clean edges, we might that try to want that. And okay, let's leave it there. Yeah, so okay, yeah, we can have it there. Apply. We might get this one as well and just go to the blares, clean edges, and then yeah, we'll just give it the same one as well. By the way, they had glows before, and now they don't have glows anymore. So yeah, once applied, they can go. And we don't have glows. If we would show glows anyway, it would be probably down here, not really there, but down here on the floor. And those would be probably black and that black and because we don't really want it to be so, we don't want it to be so kind of 3D this time around. We're just going to leave it there, and we may also want this for this man over here, and we're going to have to stretch it up a bit, not really that much, but yeah, as long as it's on the floor. And then one thing again is that let's move them backwards and up again. Okay, so this one has to go down and up again. Yep, this one as well, down and up again, so that they are all below that light. Yeah, that's what we wanted. And to select them, we're going to have to do that and deselect this. deselect this and this. Sorry, what do we have here? Which one is more open? Okay, this one is open, this one no. So we start with this one, then we select this one. Then, yeah, are these things realistic? Layer, okay, some transparency just to, yeah. So at this level, this is how I would want to leave it, and whether it should have a border or not has to be decided on how it is going to look once we export it. And because we have a picture in the background, it's going to have to be fancy as well, as in it's going to have to be a bit heavy. So in Photoshop, you'd probably have to first define an area, then that's where you drop a picture there. But in here, you have to be creative. Everything that you do has to be out of your head. So we're going to first export this the way it is, and we're going to go export a selection and export as, go on export as. And in here, we're going to export, let's create a new folder, new, and yeah, we're going to say white. This one has got a white border. We save that. It's going to probably take a bit long because it is heavy. It's I'm zooming it. Oh, I'm zooming it at 8%. It's here. I'm zooming it at 8%. So it's probably going to be a bit heavy. And let me just tweak that up. Yeah. By the way, I'm using OBS, and whatever you can do with OBS is just beyond. It's just according to your creativity. Um, so yeah, we're going to fade that in. So as that is still exporting, we can just give you a notice to say tomorrow Intrepid Boost is playing at 8, and whether we're going to go live or not is going to depend on the circumstances there. Whether internet, there could be a lot of factors, but otherwise, if everything is going to be okay and good, we're going to go live as expected. The whole game will be live, and that is what we also aim to do. We might be live tomorrow, and that is what we aim to do. We need to go live. So we're going to go back to the full view just a bit, to the full screen share actually. um, and now let's see what is happening in the background. Still exporting, still exporting. Yeah, it's now 22:14, and now we're going to lower this to the bottom so that we just select this area. Of course, well, we want to only export this area. And just a reminder, is so unfortunate that I'm remembering this at the end of the live video, but normally I do have a marker, not really a marker, but a highlighter. Where is my highlighter? I normally do have a highlighter which I use whenever I'm going live so that people can probably get whatever I'm speaking. So yeah, this is a highlighter that I use, but I forgot today because I don't know, but yeah, it just happened. So we're going to go and make this, let's resize the page to this selection here. And yeah, we know now the page has been resized to that selection. um, Inkscape is a bit misbehaving. Let's save that. And yeah, good part is that Inkscape is light, so you never expect it to crash really. If it crashes, just know that Photoshop would have crashed a while back. But it also depends on the kind of PC you are using. I'm pretty much using something really cool for graphics. So from here, we're going to want to export this selection as, again, actually let's just select the page and export it as, this time around in the new, we're going to say no border. no border. That's what we're going to do, and it'll be exporting again. I'm going to go back to OBS, and I know OBS has been quite a bit non-respondent of late. Maybe they're having issues, but we're trying to wait for it to export. Then we'll probably finish the live session there. Yep. So, by the way, Intrepid Boost in the future will also be offering some graphic designing services to other teams as well, because that is what we're aiming. That is actually what we are starting as soon as possible. So we're trying to be really a productive team, uh, and we also have a few more things that we're doing, like the hashtag Together We Are campaign, which is just a hashtag that brings people together. And we're probably going to be going, uh, taking pictures of at least our team members and our opponents, just to create some photos, a directory of photos that we're going to be hashtagging Together We Are. And it calls for oneness in the community and sports sphere. So that's about the Together We Are campaign at Intrepid Bulls, and it's our motto as well. Together we are. So we are just not a team, or a singular team or a standalone team. We are here as a community-based team. We're trying to do something really that is concerning the community, making the community better. That's what we are trying to do, of course. So my export is going to be finishing very soon, and we're going to have to go back to the form mode, and yep, we're gonna have to minimize the OBS. Okay, now we're done. The other thing, the last thing we now have to do is just saving. I like to save twice, I don't know why. And I'm going to minimize this, and I'm trying to check the flops per second of the video. Okay, it's 1 point something MBs. So it's been a bit fair though, but I'm seeing the ridges are not really well. So I'm going to leave that floating, by the way, for the sake of for the sake of the live video. So we're going to have to go. By the way, almost everything that I do for Intrepid Boost is online now, but this one was offline, and we have our icon, which we made a custom icon for Intrepid Boost. And where are the fixtures? The fixtures are in Q finals in new, and then we are going to have to open these. There is one with the border and the other without the border. And by the way, these pictures are so large that I'm now laughing that even my picture, I mean even my computer is loading to show them. So yeah, this if we were to make this into somewhat another kind of picture at Intrepid Boost, this is what we would do, and probably I'm not saying this is the only thing we would do, but creativity is unlimited where people are gathered. So this is a trick that we would give our pictures out there. So this has no border, and the other one has a border, and probably it just depends on which one you want to make a final for the upload, and or for the game tomorrow. Otherwise, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow is the 12th, so we'll be playing at 8 hours. Yeah, so we've got the right dates there and everything else, no mistake, and we're sure we're going to be inspiring souls by uploading this. So whether as to we should upload the one with the border or the one without the border is up to you. You can just comment in the live video. We'll check the comments later and make sure that we upload the one which is the people's choice. So if I'm to go full screen, this is how it looks. By the way, Intrepid Boost is sponsored by Steers and Debonaires, courtesy of Benach Enterprise, of course. And then just comment whether we should use the the one with the border or the one without the border, then we'll probably know what to do, and we'll post it and share it for those that would want to share it to the statuses. We'll include the link in the description or in the bio on either on Facebook and Instagram. Then those that want the picture for sharing on their statuses can download it on that link and share to the statuses or with friends. And by the way, we're all open. If there's someone who wants to learn graphics, we're all open. We can always do some feature. We do graphics together and see how they're going to come. But just know, Intrepid Booze is not a standalone team. Together we are. So as for today, we are done with what we were trying to do. And I'm going to go back to OBS and get things crazy again. I know OBS has been so messy today. And depending on your CPU power, probably you're going to have things that like this happening. Yeah, you're probably going to have things like this happening with OBS or other things, but or it would be crashing actually if if your PC is not really a good one. So in case you're trying to wonder what PC you should use for graphics, probably something something maybe Core i3, more than Core i3, yeah, that could work with some at least 2 gigahertz or more RAM, and some 500 GB or more, or it doesn't really matter, yeah, with no, some 2 gigahertz of processor and 4 or more GB of RAM, yeah. So with me here, I'm using this is 11th generation, and it's running on Windows 10, Windows 11 actually, and Score i5, but it's 2021 model, somewhat October, launched in August actually, and I'm using, is it NVIDIA graphics, and yeah. But if you've got a AMD computer, it's even better because that's even going to define you much better, right? If you're using an AMD PC, you're going to be good with graphics and rendering, so it's going to be probably so well to do. And yeah, that's how we're going to be ending this. And we hope to see you next time, and hope to see you tomorrow at the game. Hope you all enjoyed this. We tried to make it as creative as possible and simple at the end of the day. We didn't mean to consume much of your time, and apologies for that, but together we are. So a word on gender-based violence again. No gender-based violence, no GBV, both to men and female. And we are one Zambia, one nation, of course. And we're going to end with an advert for GBV, of course. That's some of stuff that I do. We're going to end with an advert for GBV, and of course, see you tomorrow. And thank you so much for watching. My name is Edwin Phiri again, Intrepid Booze, and thank you so much.
He hit you again, didn't he?
What? John would never hurt a fly.
He wouldn't hurt a fly, but he continues to hurt you.
Don't start. These are private family matters and they don't concern you.
I used to be in your shoes, and I told myself he hits me because he loves me or because I did something wrong. Well, not until he beat me close to death.
I have to go.
You need to report this to the one-stop center.
It was good seeing you.
Jen!
I love you, little sister.
Nearly half of the women you know experience gender-based violence. This can be sexual, physical, emotional, and economic abuse. Report these cases immediately to your nearest one-stop center while observing COVID-19 regulations, and access emergency services such as PEP or emergency contraceptives, or to preserve any evidence needed for prosecution. Call the GBV Counseling Services line 933 or the Child Helpline 116 to get help immediately. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health in partnership with Zambia Center for Communication Programs, ZCCP, Kwatu, with funding from the American people through the United States Agency for International Development and PEPFAR.